It's no secret that most people don't know what they're doing when it comes to dating and sex. Without positive role models or examples of healthy relationships, people are out here gambling with their hearts and bodies, learning solely by trial and error. So many women are lost in the terrain looking for love and unfortunately finding trauma instead. Research has shown that women have the highest level of sexual satisfaction when they're in a secure, committed relationship, as well as the best orgasm when they trust and feel safe with their partner. As a psychotherapist trained in marriage and family therapy, I'm here with 3 unconventional sex tips that you likely haven't heard elsewhere. Hello everyone, my name is Tia and I'm a licensed psychotherapist. I make videos that offer tips on how to improve your relationship with yourself and with other people. So make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you never miss more tips from a therapist. Today, I'm looking out for you ladies. I've got 3 sex tips specifically for you. Tip number 1, not all men are bad. However, there are bad men out there. The belief that all men are bad comes from 2 places. The first is relational trauma, whether it's the men in your family being harmful or your personal experience of being hurt by a series of men. The second source includes portrayals of men with high body counts and low responsibility towards women being elevated in social media, television, and music. No matter which is true for you, and potentially even both, believing that all men are bad is an overcorrection. It's a defense mechanism to keep all potential harm at arm's length. Women who have been hurt by the men in their family or out in the world cling to this belief because their life experience proves it to be true. For them, all men have been bad. It's human to learn from pattern recognition and to identify and resist potential danger. And this same wall of protection can be the barrier between you and real love. I have an embarrassing story to tell. I used to teach in an after-school program with 6th graders, and one day a student came to me and showed me a picture of this whale-like creature with a unicorn horn. I had never seen anything like it. And so I told the student, that's not real. That's not real, that's fake. You're messing with me. My brain could not conceptualize that something that ridiculous could exist. So I shut it down. Women with relational trauma have a similar experience with never being exposed to a good man before. I'm here to encourage you to just crack the door to the possibility that good men exist in the world. You just haven't seen them yet. Now I'd like to address the latter part of my initial statement. Not all men are bad, however, there are bad men out there. If you have been lucky enough to not have been hurt by a man before, or you just don't have a whole lot of dating experience in the world yet, ignorance is not bliss. While you don't have the problem of overcorrection, you do have the problem of naivety. There are men out there who will say or do anything just to have sex with you, with no intention of ever committing to you or care of how that makes you feel. They seem nice and fun at first, and they exert effort in the beginning, which tends to fade later. You need to know that anybody can put on a good face for a short while. What you're looking for is a consistent pattern of staying connected with you, a genuine interest in you as a person, and respect towards you across time. Practically speaking, he should be consistently calling or texting you without increased physical intimacy being the goal. That means that you aren't making excuses or confused as to why you haven't heard from them in a while or as often as you were before. It means he asks you questions about you and your vision of the future and considers whether he might fit into it. It means that he isn't reactive or defensive when you don't agree on things. You're also looking to see that their words and behavior match. At a minimum, I suggest that you assess his personality and character across a span of 30 to 60 days. Time is an incredible ally in revealing signs of poor character. A week or 2 of good behavior is fairly easy, especially when you don't see each other several times a week. In the same way that a company has a probation period for new hires before they get their benefits, so can we. The second tip is if he's eager for sex too early on, that's not a compliment. Remember what I said about assessing across time? If he communicates to you in a hypersexualized way, such as making suggestive comments about your body, sending you provocative photos, or wanting those types of photos from you, or he begins to sext you, this is bad. If he rushes you or pressures you towards sex, that's very bad. When women are young, naive, or even accustomed to unhealthy men, these types of behaviors can be misinterpreted. We think,
Oh my, he thinks I'm so beautiful and sexy. He just can't help himself. He's obsessed with me.
no, stop. Stop right now. This is not flattering. This is a flag, specifically a red one. This behavior communicates a lack of impulse control, lack of respect for women, potentially a porn addiction, and certainly an immaturity of how sex and relationships work. The assessment period works both ways. These men have no idea who you are. Now, there's no objective standard of what's too early for everyone. However, I'm suggesting generalizations so that you can pace yourself as you're learning what's best for you. It is much better to go a little too slow than a little too fast. A little too fast with the wrong person has dire consequences to your heart, while being a little slow with the wrong person might make them search for an easier target. Moving a little slow with the right person has no negative consequences. So, if you met online but you haven't met up in person yet, men with poor character or bad intentions tend to use hypersexualized conversation as a test to see what you're open to. Allowing or reciprocating that does not make you seem more fun or desirable. It makes you seem more available. From a man's perspective, if you're okay with sexy talk with a relative stranger, you're likely open to sex as well. Women do not think the same way that men do, and it's important that we understand how our male audience perceives us. If you have met in person, consider waiting at least until about the 4th date before you start talking about sex. At that point, it's very appropriate to discuss whether an official, mutual commitment towards each other will be made, or whether you decide to move on to potentially better prospects. Showing signs of being too eager for sex early on also sheds light on how he sees you, as an object for his own sexual gratification. If he cared about you or respected you, he would never rush or pressure you into anything faster than what you're comfortable with. Period. If he is rushing and pressuring you, he's a hedonistic man-child at best and a predator at worst. If he's fixated on sex early on, before any mutual commitment is made, what he's actually communicating to you is that he values your body in the immediate present, not you as a person in his future. Tip number 3, just because you have a consensual urge does not mean it will lead to the outcome that you want. Women are more emotional than men. Beyond just the physical attraction, the more emotionally connected we are to a man, the more likely we want to have sex with him. However, when we don't really know a man, women tend to project an image of what they think or hope a man is like. This is why reality testing across time is so important. When women see a successful man, we assume he's ready to settle down and have a family. When men see a successful man, they assume, hey, he's ready to play the field. A romanticized projection of potential can influence a woman's emotional attachment and sexual desire. We can genuinely feel a consensual urge for sex and subconsciously assume it's coming from a place of certainty that the attachment is strong and it will lead to a loving, committed relationship. Unfortunately, this romanticized assumption is another form of girl math. Sex means more to women than it does to men. There's a spiritual aspect to sex outside of just the physical. Sex creates life, and the duty of pregnancy is solely on women. It is in women's best interest to mate with a man with whom we have a loving attachment that will ensure our protection and the survival of our children. Sex and love are interwoven into our neurochemistry. That's why it's so anxiety provoking to not know where we stand with a man. Just because we have a consensual urge for sex does not mean it's a sign or a guarantee that this will progress into a relationship. Consciously, I think y'all understand that, but this is more of a subconscious process. If we decide to have sex with a man without prolonged evidence of his commitment towards us, we open the door to heartache and feeling like we're being sexually exploited. Women need to know this. This is where so many women get stuck in the limbo of situationships. Women are not capable of having casual sex without forming a bond. It defies the science of human attachment. It defies our nature as women. If a woman is capable of having casual sex without forming a bond, it is a result of trauma. It is not a sign of independence or security. For a more detailed description of the harm of situationships, check out my situationships playlist. Ladies, did you find this video helpful? Men, would you like a male-specific video? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.